get this in all colors. Oh, man.
Who inspired you?
Oh, man, definitely the Harris family, man.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Destroyed his ass, man.
Sometimes hip-hop drama feels like it never really ends, it just pauses until the next moment something sparks it again. And this latest situation proves exactly that, because somehow, in a situation involving an alleged car incident, a hospital visit, an ex-fiancée dispute, and years of unresolved tension, the story has once again pulled 50 Cent and Benzino back into the spotlight together. Now, if you've been following hip-hop for a while, you already know these two have never been friends. Their tension goes back decades. But what started as an alleged family dispute has now turned into a full-blown internet war. And things got extremely personal, extremely fast, because after Benzino ended up in the hospital following a situation involving his ex-fiancée, instead of sympathy online, 50 Cent jumped in and began trolling the situation. And Benzino, he responded in a way that shocked a lot of people online. So today we're breaking down what actually happened, how the internet reacted, and why this situation is bringing back one of hip-hop's longest-running rivalries. Let's get into it. According to reports that started circulating online, Benzino was involved in a chaotic situation involving his ex-fiancée during a dispute related to their child. The situation reportedly escalated quickly. Benzino later claimed that during the confrontation, things became physical and that he was struck by a vehicle during the altercation. Authorities were called to the scene and the situation eventually led to Benzino receiving medical attention. Photos later surfaced online showing him in the hospital wearing a neck brace and dealing with injuries. Now, situations involving custody disputes and family conflicts can become extremely emotional and complicated. And regardless of who is right or wrong in any situation, when someone ends up hospitalized, most people expect the internet to show at least some level of concern. But if you know how social media works, you already know that's not always what happens, especially when someone like 50 Cent is involved.
And you can get this in all colors. Oh, man.
Who inspired you?
Oh, man, definitely the Harris family, man.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Man, tell that big block to stop crying, man, and get in the booth and battle this nigga, man. To do a versus, that's hip-hop, man. Ain't nobody trying to give up memes and all that, and all this he doing. You know what I'm saying? Get in the booth and battle the nigga.
If there's one thing the internet has learned over the years, it's that 50 Cent treats social media like a stage. Whether it's jokes, trolling, commentary, or responding to rivals, he's built a reputation for jumping into trending conversations with very little hesitation. So when the hospital photos of Benzino started circulating, it didn't take long before 50 Cent noticed. Instead of offering sympathy, he reposted the image and made comments that many people online interpreted as trolling. And if you know 50 Cent's style, that probably wasn't surprising. He's built a career not just off music and business success, but also off his ability to turn online moments into viral conversations. But this time, the person on the other side of the jokes wasn't someone new. This was Benzino, and their history runs deep. To really understand why this situation exploded the way it did, you have to go back to the early 2000s. At that time, Benzino was heavily connected to the Source magazine, which was one of the most powerful publications in hip-hop media. The magazine had major influence over artists, albums, and the culture overall. Around the same time, one of hip-hop's biggest rivalries was happening: Benzino versus Eminem. That feud dominated headlines for years, and during that time, 50 Cent was closely aligned with Eminem, especially after signing with Shady Records and releasing the massive album Get Rich or Die Tryin'. Because of that connection, Benzino and 50 Cent were never exactly on friendly terms. Over the years, 50 would occasionally take jabs at Benzino online, sometimes about his career, sometimes about reality TV appearances, and sometimes just joking in the way 50 is known for. And if there's one thing about 50 Cent, he rarely forgets old rivalries. So when the hospital story started trending online, it created the perfect moment for him to jump in. But Benzino wasn't about to stay quiet. After seeing the post circulating online, he responded in a way that shocked many people watching the situation unfold. Benzino appeared publicly wearing a shirt that featured an image connected to 50 Cent's late mother. And that moment is when many people online said the situation crossed into extremely personal territory. Because in hip-hop culture, bringing family into a conflict, especially parents, is widely considered crossing a major line. From that point forward, the internet conversation shifted. This was no longer just jokes and trolling. This was now a deeply personal exchange between two men who already had years of tension behind them. Not long after the situation escalated, Benzino went live online and addressed the entire situation. During the live stream, he spoke openly about his frustrations, accusing 50 Cent of repeatedly targeting him over the years. He also talked about how he believes certain narratives about him have been pushed online. The live stream quickly began circulating across blogs and social media platforms. And as always happens in moments like this, people started picking sides. Some felt that 50 Cent went too far by mocking someone who had just experienced a serious situation. Others believe Benzino escalated things even further by bringing family into the conflict. And of course, the internet turned the whole thing into a debate. As the story continued to spread, Benzino's ex-fiancée also shared her version of what happened. She claimed that the situation had been misrepresented online and insisted that she did not intentionally hit him with a vehicle. According to her explanation, the situation involved an argument that escalated quickly and included concerns about their child. She also suggested that footage and evidence from the area could show what actually happened. As with many situations like this, both sides presented very different versions of events, and at this point, the full details surrounding the incident remain part of an ongoing conversation online. Once the different accounts started circulating, the internet did what it always does. It reacted instantly. Some people focused on the seriousness of the original incident. Others focused entirely on the online trolling between Benzino and 50 Cent. And many people simply watched the drama unfold as another chapter in one of hip-hop's longest-running rivalries. But the big question everyone keeps asking is simple. Did this situation go too far? Or was this just another example of hip-hop personalities clashing online like they've done for years? Over the past decade, hip-hop culture has become deeply intertwined with social media. Moments that once would have stayed behind closed doors now unfold in real time on platforms where millions of people can react instantly. Situations like the one involving Benzino and 50 Cent demonstrate how quickly a personal conflict can transform into a public spectacle. Within minutes of the hospital photos appearing online, blogs, commentary pages, and discussion forums began dissecting every detail of the situation. Some outlets focused on the seriousness of the alleged incident itself, discussing the dangers of domestic disputes escalating into physical altercations. Others focused more on the reaction from 50 Cent, examining the pattern of trolling behavior that he has built a reputation for over the years. Media coverage also revisited the long-standing tension between Benzino and several major figures in hip-hop, including his historic conflict with Eminem. Because 50 Cent rose to fame closely aligned with Eminem, many analysts believe the rivalry between Benzino and 50 was almost inevitable. What makes this situation particularly interesting is the way the internet amplifies personality clashes. In earlier eras of hip-hop, conflicts were often expressed primarily through music. Diss tracks, interviews, and occasional public confrontations were the primary outlets for rivalry. Today, however, Instagram posts, live streams, and viral clips can escalate tensions far more quickly. The Benzino and 50 Cent situation demonstrates how narratives can evolve hour by hour as different individuals involved in the story share their perspectives. Another factor influencing public perception is the way audiences view each figure's personality. 50 Cent has cultivated a public image that blends humor, provocation, and calculated controversy. Many of his supporters see his trolling as entertainment, while critics sometimes view it as unnecessarily harsh. Benzino, on the other hand, has long been a polarizing figure within hip-hop media due to his past involvement with The Source magazine and his historic disputes with artists. As a result, when situations like this occur, audience reactions are often shaped by years of prior opinions about both individuals. From an analytical perspective, this moment also highlights how attention functions as currency in the digital age. Viral conversations generate engagement, engagement generates traffic, and traffic generates visibility. Whether intentional or not, moments like these can keep public figures relevant within online discussions. However, the downside is that serious real-world situations can sometimes become overshadowed by entertainment value. A family dispute that may involve complex emotional issues can quickly turn into a meme or a trending topic. For media observers, this raises broader questions about how internet culture shapes the way audiences interpret real events. It also raises questions about accountability, public image management, and the responsibility that comes with massive online platforms. Ultimately, the Benzino and 50 Cent situation reflects a larger pattern within celebrity culture where personal conflicts intersect with digital storytelling. Each side shares their narrative, supporters amplify their preferred perspective, and the story evolves through thousands of reactions across social media. Whether this particular conflict fades quickly or continues developing will likely depend on how both individuals choose to address the situation moving forward. What remains clear, however, is that hip-hop's relationship with online media continues to redefine how rivalries unfold in the modern era. And that's the latest update on the situation involving Benzino and 50 Cent. But what do you think about everything that happened here? Did the internet take things too far? Or is this just another example of how hip-hop rivalries play out in the social media era? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because we definitely want to hear your perspective. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you like the video, subscribe to Task Spectrum West TV, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next update. Because whenever something big happens in hip-hop culture, we'll be right here breaking it all down. And I'll catch you in the next one.